once again, the left is defending crime, right? They're defending the criminal and they're defending crime. And as you just pointed out, the president has the constitutional authority, so he's not breaking the law. One point here, the media is trying to compare this to January 6th. And it's like, do you guys not know that the Capitol and the Metro are two different jurisdictions with two different command and control structures? That actually in the Capitol, the speaker controls security, and then the president can deploy the National Guard, but not if the speaker says no. You also have this issue of the Metro where the mayor is kind of the governor. And again, unless the president does the takeover, really, she's in charge. But January 6th lasted 4 hours, and the president did want the National Guard there. So did the Capitol Police Chief. Crime in the Metro is a 24/7 thing. The comparison to January 6th, where they're all like, well, if he cared so much about crime, he would have had the National Guard. You can't compare the two.
Right. But here is a good thing about January 6th is that as they go in there and they take control of these things, I would love for the Bureau to start looking into the cops who were there on January 6th at the Capitol building that ended up being those guys that they paraded in front of the J6 committee that were saying all these salacious things and making up all this different stuff. I would love to see what the connection was between them and the J6 committee and how they organize and orchestrate all that. Because here's, I'll tell you right now, all of this stuff that you see, the crime in DC, around the country, these types of orchestrated events against Trump, or the false evidence that was used by the FBI and the DOJ in the past, this is all connected. It's all connected. It may be loosely connected, but it is connected in a way that they are doing their best. The left is all through this. They run through it like a cancer that's metastasized. And that's the connection to all this stuff. Crime, a terrible way of life, politics that are destroyed. And one other thing about this, people don't realize, Andrew, that in the military, the operators that are trained to fight war, we don't determine where we go to war or who our enemies are. That's politicians. That's why we always lose wars. But it's the same thing in law enforcement. It's not the cops that are on the street that are determining how they police or where they put them or what the stats are. That's politicians and political executives in law enforcement. And that's why all of this, again, is directly connected to the left. DEI, careerism, and progressive ways of doing things.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.